Good afternoon, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, I woke up early-ish this morning. I think I was up at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something like that. The only problem is that I didn't actually end up getting up out of bed until 10. Like, I stayed in bed for like an hour and just like was on my phone and like waited to get up, and then finally ended up actually getting up out of bed, which kind of stinks. And like I need to try and break that, but like, because I was like, oh, I'm up early, and like, you know, I felt like I've been up for like a really long time, but like the fact that I was sitting in bed for so long, like, yeah. So I got done kind of what I needed to get done for today. I actually ended up working on my little project thing for my mom that I need to finish up. I have about a fourth of it left. Before today, I actually was about halfway done, or not a fourth of it. Yeah, maybe I have about a fourth of it done now or something like that, but a little bit more than that. So that's good. And I can hopefully get that wrapped up within the next couple of days. So yeah, that would be really awesome. But like, I spent a lot of time working on it today. Normally I don't, like, because it's been a multiple day project, and so I haven't normally been spending that much time on it. I'll just spend like maybe like an hour or two, but I think I spent like close to 3 hours working on it. I am literally almost done though, guys, which would be so awesome when I'm finally done. Don't have to worry about it anymore. And then I was going to edit today, and then I was like, well, you know what, I'll do that during the Cubs game. I ended up actually taking the time today to work on that, like, you know, separate time, instead of just doing it like during the Cubs game or something like that, or while we're watching something, because it's like a multitasking project, and it's very tedious, and so it's easier for me to do when I'm actually like watching something like the Cubs game or whatever. And I was like, well, you know what, I'll just work on that today, and then that way I can edit during the Cubs game. And then I looked and I was like, there's no Cubs game on today because they have the day off today. Ended up not editing then because of that. So Matthew, though, he ended up getting both the front and backyard mowed, all the lawn in the house mowed, because normally like what we would do a lot of the time, like back when my dad, like before Matthew and Jack could really mow the lawn, my dad would just mow like just the front yard one day and then do the backyard another day, because we had the fence up, so it was like easier and less time consuming. Now normally it's kind of the same, like with Jack, like on Saturday he might wind up doing like the front yard, and then on Sunday he might do the backyard or something like that, just so it's not like so totally consuming. But it doesn't take that long. I mean, our property isn't like super huge where it's like needs to be split up like that, but it was, like I said, normally just winds up, I guess, working out better for them if they do it kind of separately. But Matthew ended up doing both the front and backyard today. So that was good, that got done, and that wasn't something I had to do. But there was a lot of stuff from Mother's Day too that needed to be cleaned up, and dishes and stuff like that that needed to be done. But guys, I got a poop band-aid on. I got a little poop emoji band-aid on. I think my mom got like these pack of like emoji band-aids from the dollar store or something like that. And guys, I cut myself on glass today. The thing is, it has not hurt at all. Like when I first got it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like bleeding, and I was like freaking out. So I real quick ran into the kitchen, ran it under like ice cold water. And normally, like when something like that happens, like Bravo gave me a really deep cut on my finger one time from one of his nails, because it was like really sharp, and he like split the skin like pretty deep, and that one was, I thought, was really bad. Today it wasn't that it was like a deep cut or anything like that. It was right on my cuticle and like right under the skin, and like I said, it hasn't hurt or anything like that, but it would not stop bleeding. I was like started freaking out, because like normally I'll like run it under cold water, even like holding it up against, you know, pressure with the paper towel and stuff like that, and normally it'll like stop bleeding or whatever if I get a cut or whatnot. And today it would not stop bleeding, and I was kind of freaking out, and I was like, how deep is this? And then I was also kind of freaking out because I was like, I can't feel it. Like, it wasn't hurting. Like, it didn't even feel like a paper cut or anything like that. And still right now it's not even bothering me. My fingernail actually hurts more because of like how much pressure I was applying to my finger to try and get it to stop bleeding. So yeah, it hasn't like been bleeding ever since I put the Band-Aid on. Bleeding pretty good. I finally ended up getting it to stop, and then I put the Band-Aid on, but now I have to go and take a shower. And the one thing I cannot stand is taking showers with Band-Aids on, like, because then they get all wet and like, you know, nasty and everything like that. And then if you leave the Band-Aid on afterwards, but I really don't want to take it off because I'm really scared if I take it off it will wind up, like, normally I do not wind up sleeping in Band-Aids either, because like if it happens I'll just wind up taking it off. I mean, unless it's like really bad, but you know, to let it like air out and, you know, heal itself and stuff like that. But I'm really scared if I take the Band-Aid off it's going to start bleeding again. So I'm super torn right now whether or not I should like take it off in the shower or leave it on in the shower and then like put a new one on like when I get out of the shower. But like I said, I'm really scared to take it off because I don't want it to start bleeding again and it to not stop bleeding. Like, you know, if it is starting to kind of like heal, to like open it up again and it start bleeding all over the place again. Because today, guys, here's the problem that ended up happening. My dad is trying to get the contract for the fence signed. And so he needs to print it out and, you know, sign it and everything like that. So he tried to print on his printer and he was like, it's cutting off the bottom of the, you know, the paper is, it's cutting off the bottom of the contract or whatever. He's like, and it's right where I need to sign. And so I was like, okay. He's like, do you think you could print it for me? And I was like, okay, sure. I was like, but I don't know if my printer has any ink left. Luckily I did have a fresh cartridge that I put in my printer, and the only thing was I had to go and get the ink cartridge, and this was after I had already tried once to print it. Ended up what's it called? Ended up like one line came out and the rest of it you couldn't see anything. It was like a completely blank sheet. So I was like, okay, well, let me see if I have some. So I went into my little dresser thingy, that little dresser thingy that's right over there, and I was like, oh, I think it's in the second drawer. So I went, or in the top drawer. So I went in the top drawer and started digging around in there. And actually when I went to go put my hand into the drawer, I had a little piece of like glass, which I originally had sitting out, which was like the least smart idea. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it in here, which I was gonna do for like the glass etching, right? And I had already some little pieces in there, but this one was bigger, and so I had to put it on top of something else so it would like lay flat in there and wasn't like getting smushed or anything. So I put that in there, and sure enough, when I went in there to go dig around in that drawer, which wasn't even the right drawer, the ink was actually in the second drawer that I had in there. And so when I went into that dresser, I ended up like cutting myself on the glass that was in there, because I actually wanted to use it, like I said, for a project, but I don't know where else to put it or keep it where something's not going to happen to the glass. And so I was like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, honestly, I'm wondering if I should like put it in something, or at least put something like maybe some tape around the corners or something like that, because that was right where it got me. Just like I said, so it doesn't wind up happening again. Like, we have like dirty towels, like maybe wrapping it in that just so that it doesn't wind up, like I said, cutting me, because the glass is pretty thin. So like I said, I haven't even tried to do my glass etching yet. You guys actually probably just saw when I turned the camera around. The Dremel is still sitting on my floor in my room. I need to actually try and do that, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll go outside and like get some stuff done. But it was still pretty cold out today, although it wasn't raining, which was good, but it still wasn't like really warm. Like, it was kind of chilly out, and I think maybe this weekend's supposed to be kind of warm, like 60s and 70s and stuff like that, but weather has been like garbage. So even trying to go outside and get some gardening done, or like doing little projects in the garage, like doing some of my glass etching and stuff like that, like I don't want to be outside while it's like raining and dark out, you know. I want like the light from the windows coming in so I can see what I'm doing, and being able to work out there and do some of that stuff, or like I said, being out in the garden, because I still have a couple beds that I need to weed, and I can't do that because it's been, you know, like I said, raining and freezing cold out. So today was a little bit nicer, which is good. Not amazing. It wasn't raining out, and it also was a little bit warmer, and I think, like I said, it's supposed to get a little bit warmer every day, but we shall see, guys. Like I said, that's one of my big projects, is like I want to try some of this like glass etching stuff, but the glass that I was saving that ended up cutting me today was actually like, I think from a picture frame or something like that, and my mom was getting rid of the picture frames and she was like, oh, do you want to save the glass? And I was like, oh sure. Like I said, probably wasn't the smartest idea to keep it in there, in like not in wrapped in anything or anything like that, but I barely ever wind up in that drawer that often. I was trying to be a little too fast too, to just like real quick like get the new ink in so that I could get moving with my, you know, printing out the contract and everything like that. And yeah, so I think that's what ended up happening. I ended up trying to just move too fast and wasn't paying attention to the to the glass that was there. And then also too, I ended up printing it out and it cut off the bottom for me too. So what we realized was that they probably ended up sending it in like a different sized, like not normal sized like paper. So I just gave it to my dad and was like, well, why don't you just let them know? I was like, I can try and change it and make it like different sizes and stuff like that, but honestly, I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna wind up like printing like 40 pages all in different, you know, like the letter size and stuff like that, because the one for the actual like paper, normal paper, wasn't working. And so I was like, okay, well, should I try something else? I was like, and we don't have any other size paper to like try and do it. So I don't know if when they made it up like they had it for different paper or what. But like I said, it didn't end up working for me either, and I didn't know how to get it to fit. So I was just like, I don't know. My dad's like, I'll just call him and ask him and let him know and stuff like that, and see if he can just like just sign the bottom, because it was literally like, I think like 2 lines where he's actually just supposed to sign that kept getting cut off. So yeah, like I said, we have to see about that. And then my dad, they're coming I think in June, so this was kind of the last thing, the actual contract, and then also to the permit as well. So my dad has to go and do that, which he should probably try and get moving on as well, because that's supposed to be, like I said, beginning of June. So he's got like about a month, and I don't know how long it'll take for him to go and get the permit and everything like that. So he should probably try and get going on that pretty soon too. But I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.